The Fighting Chickens have turned out to be much better than I thought they would be. And now we'll have to see if South Carolina can pull off a ranked win upset. Hello, everybody. You're listening to the College Sports Superfan. We've got a great matchup between number 16 LSU going on the road to take on South Carolina. And this is actually where college game day is going to be. I'm a little surprised. I thought they would have picked a different spot, but they said, you know what? Nope, we're doing LSU at South Carolina. I think this has the potential to be a really, really good game. The South Carolina Gamecocks defense has been very impressive through the first two games. They basically won them the game against Old Dominion, where the offense was really, really, really struggling. And then they basically shut down Kentucky on the road. This was one where I was very surprised. I had the Wildcats winning that one. That was my worst pick of the week last week was that I thought, oh, Kentucky, yeah, they're going to beat South Carolina. South Carolina's not that good this year. Boom. They go into Lexington and they destroy the Wildcats. Now they're coming out of that game a ton of confidence. They're 2-0, they're at home and they're against an LSU team who has had a tremendous offense but has struggled on defense. So kind of the opposite problem. You're seeing two separate teams basically when it comes to their problems and their benefits. LSU has had an amazing passing offense so far this season. Garrett Nussmeier has stepped in, and he had big shoes to fill with Jaden Daniels, who won the Heisman Trophy last season, being gone. Now you have to step into that role, and Nussmeier has been brilliant, absolutely brilliant so far. LSU is averaging 311 passing yards per game. Now, keep in mind, they're somewhat one dimensional as they're averaging just under 90 rushing yards per game. And it doesn't help the fact that one of their key running backs, John Emery, suffered a season-ending injury in the first game of the season against USC. Sorry, obviously he's playing for LSU. So he suffered a season-ending injury the first game of the season. That doesn't help your rushing offense. But Nussmeier, a near 75% completion percentage, 600 yards, 8 touchdown passes, and only one interception. Amazing. That makes him one of the best passing quarterbacks in the entire country. Compared to Lenoris Sellers, who's a true freshman, right? So you got to keep that in mind. He's got a lot of upside, but he's a true freshman starting for South Carolina, and he's been rough passing the ball. He's been solid running the ball, but he has not been a very good passer, and he doesn't have the greatest receiver setup as well. So they've had to rely a lot on Rocket Sanders, the veteran running back who's coming in from Arkansas to South Carolina to finish out his career. They've had to rely on him as well, and they may have to rely more on the ground game as well. But South Carolina's defense, they've been brilliant. They're going to have to play their best game yet because at the end of the day, LSU's offense is just something they haven't seen yet. They're way better than Old Dominion's offense, and they're way better than Kentucky's offense as well. Let's talk about some history with this matchup. The history is not on the Gamecocks side. LSU actually leads the all-time series 19-2 with one tie. 19-2. South Carolina only has 2 wins over the Tigers. One of those 2 wins came in their first ever meeting in 1930. The other win happened in 1994. It was an 18-17 victory in Baton Rouge. So it was a very close game that the Gamecocks managed to win back in 1994. But since then, they have not beaten LSU. LSU has won every single game since that moment, and especially since practically since South Carolina and Arkansas joined the SEC. But what do I think is going to happen here? Well, I've been pleasantly surprised by South Carolina and how impressive their defense has been. And I may end up regretting this, but I'm actually going to pick South Carolina to upset LSU at home. I got to start picking some upsets. I've made a couple previous videos already, and a couple of them, there's some heavy favorites, and I picked the heavy favorites because I am trying to get my record. I'm 7-8. I'm trying to get above 500, but I can't be boring like that. I got to pick some upsets as well. I really think South Carolina can upset LSU. I see the Tigers as being discombobulated, and against Nicole State, they allowed 21 points to the Nicole's Colonels, and I look at LSU's defense, and I'm just not very impressed. I think they're disorganized. I think Sellers has the opportunity to have the best game in his young career. So I'm putting it all on the true freshman here. I'm going to go bold. I'm going to say South Carolina wins this game by 7. All right, thank you guys so much for listening to the College Sports Super Fan. We've got some other great games coming up. Do you guys agree with my upset pick? What do you guys think is going to happen in this game? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, stay tuned for the Bunley game of the week. I'll just let you guys know it's going to be an SEC matchup, and I think it's going to be one that could literally be the best and most entertaining game of this week. So stay tuned for that, and please keep listening to the College Sports Superfan.